small group of venture capitalists helped to provide a kickstart. With the continuing support of the Commonwealth Government, we're now testing QLab's communication capability over the ACT's optic fibre network. We're also finding corporate partners. I am very pleased to announce today that Lockheed Martin, both in Australia and the United States, recognise the importance of the work and have committed to funding further research and development with QLabs and ANU. I anticipate a deepening relationship between us. For Lockheed Martin, as for us, global security is a major focus of activity. So, from every crisis emerge opportunities. E-security offers Australia the world-leading expertise in deep technology to counter the escalating threats to cybersecurity. It offers the possibility of building Australian collaborative partnerships between academic research, private sector entrepreneurship, and government support for innovation. I'm not pretending it's going to be easy. Competition is tough. Only a few weeks ago, China announced that it had built the world's first quantum encrypted network. Others are seeking to do so. But I do believe that Australia, through QLabs, still retains a scientific edge. It's my strong view that both the technological and commercial challenges can be overcome, and that Australia can show global leadership in securing cyberspace. To explain in more detail, I'm now going to hand over to the founder and CEO of QuintessenceLabs, Vikram Sharma.
Thank you, Peter. Good afternoon. I'd like to open with sharing a few thoughts with you on low probability, high impact events. These are events that, by their very definition, have an extremely low probability of occurrence. When they do occur, they have the potential for significant impact on our society, and they're very difficult, if not impossible, to predict. The black swan is a metaphor representing something that could not exist, and as it was long held that all swans were white. However, the discovery in the 18th century of black swans in Australia invalidated this proposition. The term black swan event has coined to connote extremely low probability events that have the potential to have large-scale consequences. Our mental makeup and training, in fact, often leads us to ignore or rationalize such events. We are equipped more to look after immediate issues and perhaps seek out trends. In fact, it's been suggested perhaps evolution as a species has wired our minds in such a way. However, such events have the potential to significantly impact us. In the recent past, we've experienced a number of such events in the areas of national security, natural disasters, health, and indeed the financial markets. Our risk management strategies typically discount the occurrence of such events. Often, extremely low probability is extrapolated to zero probability, and we ignore such events. Against the metric of per unit time, you find that the probabilities compound with the passage of years. Another factor playing into this is that our world is increasingly interconnected and intertwined. Almost immediately on its creation, information is distributed and disseminated. And there's numerous feedback loops which magnify the impacts. This gives us, on many occasions, limited opportunity for carefully considered responses. I'd like to return to this idea of low probability, high impact events in the context of information security in a few slides. Information, of course, permeates every aspect of our 21st century life. Orderly functioning of our society, in fact, is premised on reliable, predictable information flows. This is achieved through securing critical information for government, defense, or intelligence, critical infrastructure such as the electric grid, satellite communications, the core of the financial system, or valuable commercial IP, and indeed, personal data. For many of these data, compromise would result in major and significant disruptions with the potential for significant human and financial cost. Until the 1970s, encryption was fairly sparingly deployed. This was because it was delivered via technology that was often proprietary or held as state secrets, and the management of keys was quite expensive. Therefore, it was limited to only those applications where there was high value of data. However, the 1970s saw a dramatic advance in this technology with the introduction of public key infrastructure. This provided a solution to the issue, and indeed, encryption technology flourished, wide-scale adoption. And in fact, it could be regarded as a key enabling factor in the rapid growth of e-commerce, so much so that terms like, or names like RSA have almost become household names, as being a technology that's used to secure our internet transactions, for example. All such encryption, however, is based on complex mathematical recipes, where we take our plain text and translate it into so-called ciphertext. And the idea behind this is of near one-way mathematical functions, where it's easy to encode, however, it's assumed that it's difficult to reverse these encryptions in the absence of the decryption key. The security of such technologies is dependent on what is termed the computational intractability of basically a handful of mathematical problems. However, we do not know that an efficient inverse just does not exist. We learn about breaches in security much later. As an example, the fabled Enigma encryption machine of World War II, the fact that this was compromised during the war and potentially altered the course of the war was not publicly disclosed until almost 3 decades later, sometime in the 1970s. To look at some of the threats that we see to our current encryption technology, I'd like to refer to a quote by Edgar Allan Poe, who in addition to being a famous author, was a cryptographer of quite some repute. And he contended that it may well be doubted whether human ingenuity can construct an enigma which human ingenuity may not, by proper application, resolve. We think he was absolutely prescient with these comments. We see 3 potential areas where current encryption technology may be at risk. Regular mathematical advances that occur, which chip away at the security of our encryption systems. As an example, a team at the Shandong University in China in 2005 devised some technology which simplified or reduced the complexity of breaking the SHA-1 algorithm. And in fact, just earlier this year, a team of researchers at Macquarie University and Qualcomm has significantly weakened the strength of that cipher again. And the SHA-1, or the SHA family of algorithms, are extensively used in digital signatures at the heart of e-commerce that we undertake today. The second potential area of threat is brute force attacks. So we have Moore's law, which tells us that every 18 months our computational capabilities will double. And this has held true for the last 30+ years. But sometimes this actually occurs much quicker than we might even imagine. In 1977,